Hello and welcome back to another episode of Doctor in a Bikini. I am Shannon Ahern, the host of this podcast. For those of you who are new here, I am mostly documenting my journey as the physical therapist on the road with Dancing with the Stars tour. When I am not here, I am typically helping my athletes at home with virtual coaching. Well, I do in-person coaching, but virtual coaching, posing prehab. I am a physical therapist, usually full-time, but I've been transitioning into part-time and independent contract work. So that is the doctor and the doctor bikini part. And I usually do bodybuilding shows. This is actually the first January that I haven't been in full prep since 2021. So crazy, definitely out of body, out of my norm, I guess. And it's good to do things that are different, which is kind of the theme of this week's episode is learning to live in the now and giving yourself grace. I feel like it's been a really big lesson for me this week. If you are anything like me, I have a hard time maybe meeting myself where I'm at. I think I'm so forward thinking that there's always more to do. So I think that's just a continuous lesson I am evolving with, is learning to meet myself halfway. So I'll get more into that. But first, I'll give you a quick little recap because some of you are here and new because you're following the tour, especially if you've seen one of these stickers posted around every single venue we've been going to. I've been putting these around. The show in, oh my gosh, you'll have to bear with me because tour life, Shannon, is a whole different type of organized and a whole different type of disorganized, meaning I don't know what day it is. I don't know what state we were in yesterday. I usually don't know what state we're in tomorrow. Sometimes even the day of, but it was a recent show. It wasn't Buffalo. I don't think it was Schenectady. I want to say it was a Pennsylvania show, but I had 4 girls on the road recognize me from the podcast and from my TikToks and Instagram. And that was just so gratifying because, like I said earlier, for someone that there's always more that I want to do and more goals that I have, it's really cool when people think, that you've been doing a good job, I guess, for lack of better words, or they've been enjoying what you're sharing. So I'm going to try and keep sharing along the way some fun stories. I'll tell you some funny things that went wrong yesterday at the show. Things that you would never know if you're watching the show, but being backstage, it was like, oh my God. But yeah, so if you see these in your city and take a selfie with them, then I will go and give you a shout out on the podcast. So make sure to keep an eye out for those. But yeah, as far as living in the now today, we are at the Met in Philadelphia. It's been a really cute city. I went to, I'll have to share it in the notes, Cafe Tulia. Oh my God, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But I had my first Italian donut. Oh my God. I wish that I captured it on camera for you because, first off, the donut was one of the, I get it now. As an Arizona girl, everyone's always complaining about, not everyone, people on the East Coast are usually saying that donuts are not the same in Arizona. People come to Arizona, they're like, where can you find a good donut? And almost everyone in Arizona says Bosa Donuts, or sometimes one of the small, cake donut chains, and that's the same kind of donut. Now I get it when my patients from the East Coast say it's not the same here. The pizza isn't the same, the sauce isn't the same, the donuts and the bagels aren't the same. I get it. This morning I had one and it was so fluffy that you didn't hate yourself afterwards. And it was the perfect amount of a little bit of chocolate in there. And it wasn't like Nutella, it was less greasy and it was less sugary. It was more fluffy. It was just perfect. And I'm still dreaming about it. And I wish I got a whole box because they're so good. Big coffee person too. It's going to be good coffee when they say, we only put about a pump in our drinks. Is that okay? And I'm like, say less. Absolutely. Because the less you put in your coffee, the more that I know that your coffee is that good that it doesn't need anything else. So far, that was the best coffee, the best little treat that I've had. That's my one little thing while I'm living in the now in every single city is bare minimum. I just got to go get a cup of coffee, move my body by walking somewhere, and then I've officially checked off the bucket list. Because I will say tour life, and this will be the perfect segue, tour life, it is really hard to have a routine, let alone, I'm sure you're very familiar with this if you work on the road. Maybe you have some fitness goals. Maybe you are a small business owner. Maybe you have your day job, but you're working towards transitioning to your side hustle being your full-time hustle. it can be really hard to feel like you're accomplishing everything you want to while also experiencing the places you're in, eating the food that you want to eat, but still being mindful, but still feeling like you're leading a life of balance. Sometimes you're just tired and you want to sleep, and then you can almost feel like a failure because you're resting your body, God forbid. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this week I haven't done it in probably since college days. There was a day that, I kid you not, I slept in until 11 a.m. I never do that. I don't know about you, I'm somebody that on a good day that I feel well rested and accomplished, if I'm waking up at 7:30 and I'm rested and I'm ready to go, that's going to be a great day. 8 o'clock, perfect. 8:30, fine. 9, I was a little bit of a sleepy girl, but like, still plenty of day left. As soon as it hits 9:30, 10 o'clock, Shannon panics because I'm like, oh my God, the day is over. It sounds so dramatic, but it's like, I just feel like I need to get up and moving. Tour life, 9 o'clock feels like 7. 11 o'clock feels like 9 o'clock. And 2 a.m. feels like midnight. So it's just like, I was working on a dancer earlier and she made a really good point. She's like, you just have to give yourself grace and realize that our day is copy pasted like a couple hours later. And that's exactly what it is. Like, we're eating later, we're staying up later. And it's interesting because this is for my off season girlies. You know how when you transition your off season and you have this whole lifestyle for prep, if you've had prep before, maybe you're starting prep now and you're trying to transition to this new lifestyle. Either way, we're always going through some sort of change, and we're so hard on ourselves. It's so easy to feel like we're not checking off all the boxes or doing enough. There's always more we want to do. And I actually had a really good phone call this week. I got asked, do you feel like you live in the now? And it was just one of those questions that no one has really asked me before. And it was really good because I was honest. I said, no, I think I have a really hard time living in the now. It's something I wish that I was better about, because even on this crazy experience, I'm literally backstage with Dancing with the Stars. And yet here I am thinking about my fitness goals, my physical products that I want to have for the podcast, producing my podcast, marketing the podcast, my posing prehab clients, my virtual training clients. I'm like, I love to say this, but if I were speaking to my best friend, I would say, isn't that exhausting? Just take 2 seconds and be proud of yourself of what you are doing and where you are, literally, physically, what you're doing. I mean, I remember back in the day, if you've been listening to the podcast, I didn't get into PT school and I thought it was the end of the world. I thought I was a failure. I thought I wasn't smart enough. I wanted to give up. I remember the first time I failed a test. I had never failed a test until like PT school. Well, I didn't fail. I shouldn't say that. It was really bad, but I didn't fail. I feel like that just proved my point about like how hard we can be on ourselves. But you think about all the little milestones along the way of when past you wished that they were where you are today. So why is it that we spend today worrying about where we are years from now? Like, is it ever enough? And I think that's just something I wanted to talk about on here, because so many people message me through Instagram. It's overwhelming. Or TikTok, my email, literally every single platform, asking me, how did you get to where you are? What did you do? What can I do to take the steps? And, oh my gosh, how amazing you've made it. You're LOL, you're famous. I'm like, what? No, I'm not. but thank you. Which I'll share my creamery story, because I promised on one of my videos that I'd share something about the creamery. Oh my God, creamery this week. Anyways, it's so funny how people on the outside can think, oh my gosh, you've made it to your destination. What is the destination? Really, I think the destination should be that we are proud of ourselves, that we can live in what we have right now, and not materialistically. Oh my God, Shannon. I've had coffee today, so I have no excuse, but I am going to say tour brain. When I'm on prep, it's prep brain. Right now, it's tour brain. But I just feel like no matter what, we are always going to have new goals. We're always going to have a new phase of life that we're trying to get used to. And I think whatever you can do today to be proud of where you are and what you've done, whether that's, writing it down or just like sitting in silence in the shower, I just wanted to share that because even being on tour and being with these really awesome people that I've looked up to for years, still the same Shannon, still the same mindset, still the same things I'm working towards internally. And that's giving myself more credit, trying to wrap my brain around the now, because sometimes I'm backstage and I think that I feel like I have to shake myself and say, look at what you're doing. Like, and I just think there's something so cool when people can be honest about that on the internet, that they don't have it all together, that there's still days that they feel hard on themselves. Or like I talked on my stories on Instagram this week. If you don't follow me already, it's all of the shenanigans or Doctrine Bikini if you search it. Not the username. Someone stole my username. We don't need to talk about that. I did a story on Instagram about like social anxiety. And that kind of has to do with living in the now too. I think I would say I'm a very extroverted person. I'm introverted by nature, but I love connecting with people. I love relationships, but I'm also an observer. So I'm not always the first person to talk in the room. And it's so funny, this position. I've never been in a position like this where this is my job. So I have to be professional, but also by nature, very authentically, I connect with people. I make friends with people. I like to have deeper conversations. I'm that person. And it's weird to toe the line between I'm here for my job and I want to be respectful, because all of you are very well known people that oftentimes people try to be, I assume, their friends, maybe for ulterior motives, or because they want, to be friends with this famous person, or they want to be seen in this famous person's posts or whichever. Versus there's that. So I try to be respectful of that. And I almost get like a little over analytical and I back off a little bit, or I think too much about what I want to say. But then authentically, it's like, well, you guys are all I have for 3 months, and that connection and that friendship and doing something fun like a silly dance or like, a post, like I want to do those things because that's me. So that's been an interesting journey, because it has made me realize maybe some social anxiety tendencies that I do have that I just don't always think about. When you're trying to grade your behavior or grade your responses, or think about, oh, was that weird that I said that? Or was that too honest? Or, oh, am I like, insert whatever descriptor you're worried about. And it's like, yep, still here, still me, no matter what job I'm in, no matter what environment I'm in. That's just something that we all have to work on. That's something I'm working on. And I never would have thought that this would be like the situation that I'd be in. But it's been such a really cool experience. And it's also been that's my point to this, is it's been a very educational experience. And like, it's been great for self-improvement, because when you're alone, you have to think about a lot and you're accountable for a lot. And there's been a lot of times alone on the trip, which I love being alone. But also there's times that you're like, man, really miss my people, or like, you love being comfy cozy with people and just not thinking about anything behavior wise. So that's been something interesting about tour. Living out of a suitcase has been very interesting. The ice pod is the worst part. That is the worst part of this entire experience, is setting up the dang ice bath. Oh, I'm going to post a video and I'll have to do a voiceover, but I still don't even know if that's going to do it justice. Like, you all, you know how when you like irrationally get angry when you hit your pinky toe on a counter, or like, a door or something? That's how angry I get at this ice pod. Like, I remember I was setting it up one night and I was taking it down. So I have to put these rods in every single day. It's not just like a blow up one. It does blow up, and I have to do that by hand. But there's these rods that you have to put in to keep it upright. And we're in a new city every day. So if you do the math, that means that I have to take it out of the box, put the rods in, fill it up with water, and it's huge. Like, I was trying to do some math in my head about, it was like a mathematical problem about like the volume. It's like, Shannon, if you have one ice pod that's approximately 6 feet long and this many times, how long will it take you till the ice pod is full? I kept running back and forth during the show. I was trying to grade it because I had to be ready by the time they were done. It took so long, and I literally had 100 pounds of ice in this dang tub. When it was done, just for it to be dumped out, which if we're on the math problem here and you think about how heavy it is and how small Shannon is, I was like, oh my God, thank God I'm a bodybuilder because this stuff is so heavy. Like my road case that's behind the camera, so heavy. Everything I have to set up every day, so freaking heavy. This ice pod, you dump it out. Sure, you can let the little lever loose and let it drain. But after the show, when I'm done working on everybody, you have to get quick, 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 quick. They're on your radio. They're telling you got to get packed up. You got to get your stuff on the bus. My PT items are usually on the first loading dock, which means that mine has to be the first to be loaded. But yet the dancers also need to be treated right after the show if they need me. So it's this weird timing that I still haven't navigated. But between the ice pod and then physically providing treatment for these people, you have to dump the ice pod, clean the ice pod, keep it sanitary, and then deflate it and take the rods out again. And it is like Shannon's version of hell. I'm just going to say that. There was one night that when I dumped it, there were so many ice chunks left because there was 100 pounds of ice. I was in my snow boots in this giant locker room. I slipped on the ice. Thank God I was okay. But my hip rammed into this corner. And let me tell you, think about the pinky thing I said earlier, the obscenities that came out of my mouth because I was so angry at this ice pod. And then I just injured myself on this pointy little corner. I'm like, why is there a corner there? I wish I had it on video because it would have made America's Funniest Home Videos, or it would have made it on TikTok. I don't know, but it was funny because I was mad and I was wet and I had just taken a shower and I was like, I have to sanitize all over again because this is gross because I got used water on me, and then I'm in a locker room and it's like a hockey locker room, and I was like, ugh. So yeah. Anyways, while I'm on funny story time, so we went to Penn State University this week, which was really cool. We went to, that's where Steven Niederozic went. I should know. See? Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Anyways, moving right along, that's where he went. So really cool. Lots of people were really stoked about him being on campus there. And there was this PR thing for ice cream. I didn't know it was a PR thing. All I knew is that we were going to get ice cream. And I heard something about a truck going. So I was like, sure, I'll come with. We're in the truck or in the van, and they're like, oh yeah, this is a PR thing. And I was like, oh, which it was fine. It was just a small group of us. And it is so funny on this tour, because this was in response to what I said earlier about some people are like, you're so famous. And I'm like, no, I'm really not. Which is totally fine, because what these people have to put up with, just in general, with people recognizing them, and they, don't get me wrong, they all love it. They all are such troopers about it. I don't know if I were in their shoes, if back to my anxiety, how I would do with all these people, these masses of people coming up to you, touching you, in your personal bubble. You're tired, and they're like, can I get a picture? What about me? What about me? What about me? And then telling you deep stories about their lives. As an empath, that's a lot. I can say that because I'm a healthcare provider. So I know that touching people and getting stories from people, I have something on my face that's let me share this with you, which I love. If you're listening and you've done that, I love connecting with people. Remember that part of the episode. So that is me. But you also need to have boundaries. And as a non-famous person, I can turn it off. I can go disappear. And that's fine. I can go to Trader Joe's all by myself when I'm not on tour, and maybe someone's going to recognize me. But usually you can get in and get out and you're good. You can't do that if you're recognized. So I get off of the bus with these people, and it's so funny because as soon as they get off, there's this crowd. They're like, wow. I step off and it was like, more people stepped off behind me, and I was like, wow. I was like, yep. So I'm off to the side trying to like mind my own business, be out of the way. And we get inside of the creamery, and same thing. I'm like bobbing and weaving because left, right, from behind, everywhere, more people are coming with their phones, with their ice cream. And they're like, oh my God, can I get a picture? Oh my God, can I get a TikTok? Oh my God, I'm filming this, I'm filming that. Like, just go, 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 go. There was not one spot that I could stand without being out of the way. So I'm sitting there, and finally I find this little pocket, and I'm off to the side with one of the dancers. And I was like, oh, what flavor did you get? And they go, oh, I got, this flavor, this flavor. I was like, oh, cool. He goes, yeah, you want to try? And I was like, sure. So he's like spoon feeding me his his ice cream with his spoon, and I'm spoon feeding him my ice cream with my spoon. And one of the college girls walks by, and she's like, who are you? Like, that's what her face said. And it was just really funny because I'm like, I'm clearly a nobody here, which totally fine with. I know my place. And I'm just off to the side, spooning some ice cream. And it just, yeah, it was very interesting. And then one person was like, all right, like, can everybody get in the photo? Like, only the important people. And I was like, oh, noted. Like, it wasn't any of the dancers. It was just funny because I'm like, did that person just say only important people over here? Anyways, um, let's see, what other stories stuff that went wrong yesterday. That was kind of funny. So I think in show business, I'm just making sure time wise we're good. In show business, there's so many things that go into just creating something for production, right? Between who's choreographing, the lights, the sounds, if there's like screens involved, like this year they have TVs, which is a whole other like digital component. And then you got, of course, the dancers, you got security, you've got the contractors. Like there's so many people within production, which I never would have known because I didn't come from this world. And it's just so impressive how talented everybody is. Wardrobe, God forbid, like what they do is just like bowing. All my point being, all these things have to happen perfectly for this one show, and we have 80 something shows, however many cities, I don't know. Crazy, right? So days like yesterday where it's a double, that means everything that you usually have the whole day to do, you have to do before the matinee show, which is insanity because sometimes the venue doesn't even open until a certain time, allowing people to come in and load everyone's stuff, set everything up production wise, the dancers to warm up, to wake up, all that stuff. And yesterday I'm so sorry if you heard that. um, anyways, where was I going with that? Squirrel. Oh, so in order for everything to happen in like half amount of time, crazy pants, all these things, it was just like something in the air between multiple people forgetting choreography. Um, there was like this thing with the disco balls that when you watch the show, I'm trying to like give stuff without like giving it away in case you're going to come watch the show. But there is like one part of the dance where there's 3 standing disco balls. And it's really cool, really fun way that they choreographed it. And all of a sudden, right before, it was like, oh my God, the disco balls, they're not on the sticks. So you got everyone like trying to jam it on really quick, and you hear the song, like the safety song going, and it's like getting closer and closer. You hear like the end of the song coming, and it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then you just hear like, just put one like in the middle. So you see one disco ball in the center. Well, someone also forgot to plug that one in. So instead of like rotating and spinning, it just looks like one disco ball from Weenie Hut Junior Value brand just standing there in the middle, like. And then you have like our security guy trying like during the dance, he's like crawling behind backstage and then trying to hook it up without anybody noticing. And you just see like his hands come up from the back of the stage and grab just for it to all of a sudden magically start spinning. The same exact dance, one of the dancers, their pants, like the buttons completely snapped right before going on stage, and their shoelace snapped. So they had like an open flap for their pants, and their shoe was completely undone for the entire number. And this person just goes out like the professional they are. And I'm like, oh my God, their pants are undone. Their pants are undone. Oh my God. And then like all these little things just the whole day. Like some people forgot to go out on time. we all kept tripping over this like speed bump thing, because of course the venue every single day is different too. So like the second you finally get acclimated and you know where you are, it's like time to go to a new venue. Backstage is going to look totally different. The way you go, the way you're not allowed to go, where the cords are. For me, like I'm running low on laundry because some venues you can't wash your clothes, and we have now had a train of places we can't wash our clothes. And of course, yesterday, like I went to go pack all my stuff, because that's a whole other thing. I should have had it here so I could show you the frame. My flow, I have my big suitcase, my small suitcase, my backpack, and a tote that I got from Athleta after shopping on the road. The tote in Athleta, I have like my shower things, my shower shoes, and then just recently, because I found myself having to dig for my clothes while in the middle of icy storms. I'm outside, my hands are freezing, and I'm like going through my laundry. Like after we did this and we were on the side of the freeway, I was like, this can't happen. Like I need to be more prepared. So now in my tote, I have that night's pajamas and then the next day's working clothes, because now also my bunk is smaller, like I said, I think in the last episode. So trying to change in there without hitting your head is like trying to change in a coffin. It just doesn't work. And our bathroom on the bus is like literally like an airplane bathroom. It does not work. So that is my new strategy this week. I have my clothes for that night and for the next day in my bag. Well, that sounds like a perfect plan, doesn't it? Like flawless, nothing could go wrong. Yeah, well, this last venue, yesterday, the double, where all this stuff like just kind of went awry and it was funny. Our buses were parked way off site and it was freezing out, so I wasn't walking. Your girl forgot underwear, so I just had to, exist that day without it, which for some of you guys are probably like, I don't ever wear underwear. I do, especially if I'm wearing leggings while working on people. I like prefer to not be commando. Not that anyone's gonna know. You see, like we're all in black, but still, I'll know. So all day yesterday, and it was freezing. Just like I just felt off. Everyone felt off, myself included, because I was like, the one thing I wanted to pack in there was clean underwear. What's the one thing I didn't do? Clean underwear. So therefore, guess we're just going without. So yeah, let's see what else has happened this week. I feel like there was something else funny story-wise I was going to share with y'all, but yeah, I was going to wait and do an episode tomorrow while I was in the hotel room, because tomorrow's our day off in New York City, and usually Mondays is when I try and do my podcast episodes. But I just figured it'd be cool to record one in the venue. Like I said, we're literally in the Met, and it's a very historical venue, so I just thought that would be really cool. I'll kind of show you really quick. So it's messy. Don't come after me. Every PT room, we get our dressing room. So that is my backpack I talked about, my wolf pack. It's my favorite. I got it in my first overall win back in 2023. Yeah, Phoenix Iron Games. I think that's 2023. That's my tote bag where I forgot, my stuff and things, my snow jacket, my emergency kit. I was like, what is that? This is the beloved road case. It's the bane of my existence, but not as much as the ice bath, because they like to just pop open because it's top heavy. Hence the tape marks, because things like to explode. And then here I've got, cupping set that I just used before I hopped on here, some of my scraping tools, some of the warm-up stuff here. And then they have some really cute like furniture here. I just thought it was really cute. Some venues are superior to others, hence why I don't always record in a venue. Oh my gosh. But this one, you can actually breathe and sit, and that's not always the case. So yeah, I wanted to share all that. But let me know in the comments what else you would like to hear from me, any stories, any questions. Otherwise, I will just continue to share my personal experiences, the life lessons that I feel come to me while I'm on the road. Yeah, it's crazy. It's not even February yet. It's like the third month of January. Yeah, I said what I said. It feels like the third month of January. This has been a long January in a good way. It's just crazy because I'm literally on the road until April. So let me know what more you want to hear. In the meantime, you can make sure to subscribe to Dr. in Bikini podcast on all platforms. Follow on Instagram all of the shenanigans like Shannon. And make sure to share your thoughts, your feelings, your stories, any and all the above. And I will give you a shout out on the podcast. So thank you for listening. But for now, that's all I got. So I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.